welcome into Dizneyverse Fantasy Football League. I am your host, Alex, aka Redbeard Variant. If you stumbled upon us, we are the Dizneyverse, Dizneyverse, found on all social media platforms. We are a Disney history podcast, but this year we put together a Fantasy Football League for our Patreons. And so it's our first year doing it. We have a few teams who are not engaged anymore, but I wanted to keep the people engaged who are part of the league. So I'm putting out these videos every week to hope that everyone still stays engaged throughout the whole season, because I know sometimes this season can get a little lull in the middle, especially if you're not winning every week. And so I just wanted to put this together and put it out there for them to watch. If you are watching, thank you. And if you stumble upon us and you don't know who we are, like I said, we are Dizneyverse. We are a Disney history podcast. We release episodes every Monday, and we go over the history of a subject like a Disney roller coaster, a movie, a character, a Disney legend, maybe a cruise, a restaurant. And we just bring the history and as well talk about just, Disney general Disney stuff. And so, give us a check out as well. Now, I'm going to let you know I'm by myself again. Unfortunately, Scott's new schedule has him working on nights I record, so he can't be with me. And to be honest, I just recorded this. I just recorded this right here for 45, 50 minutes. And then I went to go start working on it to upload it. And I checked it out really fast, and I had no audio. I had messed with my audio for a stream with the Dizneyverse earlier last week, and I guess I forgot to check my mic because my mic was not hot, and so I said a lot of words and nothing was picked up. So I am doing all this again by myself, which kind of stinks. So I'm probably gonna go a little faster. It's a little late. I'm getting tired. So I'm gonna run through here quickly, but I'll try to hit everything I hit last time. It'll be hard because like I already talked about it, so I don't know what I did talk about, what I didn't talk about. So we'll figure it out. It's okay. So starting with our matchup for this week. Oh, that's not it. So we have historians playing East High Wildcats. I'm not going to look at East High Wildcats because they are not doing anything over here. But we had a good week, scoring 154.08. And we did have the best running back on the bench with Javonte Williams. But I'm not going to rely on Javonte Williams moving forward. He had a good week, but it doesn't mean he's going to do that ever again. He's just there in case I need someone quickly. We didn't even have a tight end starting this game, but I wasn't worried about it because of who we're playing. Moving forward, Kincaid is our tight end. We don't have a backup. We might have to go get one just in case. So that was an easy win for myself. We moved to 8-3. Now we look at Stroop Woot versus King. Oh, actually, you know what? Of course, I forgot to say that we did have the top wide receiver, which is Amon St. Brown. And Amon St. Brown, he went ahead and got 33.2 fantasy points with over 160 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. So he had a really good game with those 33.2 points. And SC Barkley has 33.8. He is not the top running back. We'll look at that later. So we have King of the Hill versus Stroop to Whoop, and Stroop to end up winning 111.88 to 72.24. And this is a good matchup. I mean, things just didn't go King of the North's way. Hall had an amazing game. Pollard did not. Big difference there. You scroll down to this right here, their flexes. Pearsall should not even be there. Looking at your team, you didn't have Harrison put in there, and you don't really have anyone else. I guess I would definitely have Pittman over Pearsall every week. Pittman's not doing much. I still would have that in there, but that wouldn't have gave you the win. So it's not like you would have won just by making that little change. Allen had a great week as well. So that's just a good week for Stu to Whoop. put him 111 points. Nothing you can mess around with. Worthy did well. He's getting some carries as well, so they're trying to work him in the offense. Would I have him starting over Samuel and Waddle moving forward? I don't think so. Waddle has been doing great this year at all, so maybe over Waddle. I would probably just go against the matchups on those weeks. We have no different Scott for Big Beautiful Diz, and no different Scott ended up getting the win 139.6 to 113.68. And a big part of that is that Scott had the number one running back, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon went ahead and scored 34.5 fantasy points with over 100 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. That's right, 3 rushing touchdowns. Stafford had a great game. Purdy did not. Henry had a bad game. Jacobs had a great game. Williams did not. And then here was a big change here. Tillman, bad game. Lamb, great game. Hill, great game. Metcalf, bad game. Tight end, Henry took it over Hawkinson. Flex here. This was good. Gibbs and Higgins. That was a good matchup. Higgins won that one. And then Hunt won that one. So it was a big, people did put up 113 points. So, like, they could have beat a bunch of other teams. They just happened to play against Nova and Scott this week, who had a good week as well. Nova and Scott also had the top defense of the week, which was not the Houston Texans. What? What? I mean, I have the right Nitty Friend Scott, but it wasn't the Houston Texans. It was the Denver Broncos had this top one. Big mess up on me. Texans was the top bench, not the top team. So that was a mistake I made. But Denver was the top team. They only allowed 6 points for Atlanta, which is insane. Putting up 13 fantasy points. Still not that much. We only allow 6 points. So not much to do on both sides. I think Downs and Jennings are definitely starts moving forward. I would definitely start them over Mooney and possibly Metcalf. Just look at the matchups. Because Downs is catching touchdowns like crazy, and Jennings is the number 2 wide receiver for San Francisco, so he's definitely one to start. So I would probably start them over Mooney and Metcalf moving forward if the matchup is the way you want it. I wouldn't blindly start them. I'd look at your matchups. And Ertz had a great week. I think Ertz is going to be a great starter moving forward. I may play him over Henry moving forward, Scott, but we'll talk about it later. Heavyweights versus Team Maverick Miggs. Heavyweight scored 103.54. Maverick Miggs scored 71.58. And this is a big part because heavyweights did have Joe Burrow, which was the number 1 quarterback of the week. Joe Burrow was the top quarterback again with 29 fantasy points, throwing for over 350 fantasy point yards, over 350 passing yards, and 3 passing touchdowns. And Lamar Jackson had a poor week. Taylor had a poor week. Etienne had a poor week. But Etienne, I wouldn't even start moving forward. He's had a poor year. I wouldn't even start him moving forward. Mostart didn't do great. I wouldn't start him moving forward either, honestly. And Cup and Nukua both had great games, which is crazy. Thomas did great. Smith did terrible. McBride was on bye week, so I mean, you were guaranteed to lose having that right there. Do you have a tight end to change? You don't, but you have plenty of players to drop, like drop Wicks. Well, you could have played Ingram, I guess, huh? Moving forward, we'll look at your teams moving forward, but I mean, we have a lot of players that it looks like players that can drop, like Lloyd and Wicks, for sure. Good job, heavyweights moving to 6-5. Then we have 51st Legion versus Kuda Matata. Kuda Matata scored 103.92 points. And 51st Legion scored 71.64. And this was a good matchup. It was a good matchup up until for here. Not so much here. Don't know why S-Dime is starting. I think we talked about him starting if Javonte Williams was out, but Javonte Williams ended up playing. And here, McLaurin did not have a great game, and Jamar Chase had an amazing game with 2 touchdowns. They won on the flex positions as well. Shakir and Smith outscored Stevenson and Harris. So, 51st, I mean, I just looked at a lot of 51st Legion points here, but like this was not good at all. And this was a really bad one. Could have changed some stuff. Not really. You don't have a lot of players on your bench to put in. Your bye week kind of affected you there. Connor, Tracy, and Legit not starting, so it's unfortunate for you. But good for Kumatata. They had a good showing with 103 fantasy points. Team Kalina versus Lady and the Tramp, and I don't think Team Kalina could have done anything with their bench to change it, even though Judy and Sons in there, 23 and 11. Kaylee Williamson there 16 points instead of Stroud's 11, because you have a bye week. I mean, like not making changes, so I'm not even gonna look at this anymore. But Lady and the Champs had a good week at 119. I think she would have beat a lot of people anyways. And it helps because she did have the top tight end of the week, which is Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers went ahead and scored 24.8 points with over 120 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. So good job for you. You're having a good lineup here. I looked at it earlier. Not much I would change. Even though Valen Scanlon is a sneaky player now, he's having a bye week. But moving forward, I would possibly think about starting him if he continues. And Madison, if he's healthy, I would always start because he has such a high floor versus Hopkins. I would probably start him over Hopkins. All right. So that is week 11 results. And if we look down at our standings, we have Late 8 champs and New Friends got tied for 9 and 2. We have Historians 8 and 3. Weevil did 74, and then we have a 3-way tie with Kumatata, Kalina, and Heavyweights. And again, you need to be a top 6 team to make the playoffs. And then Strip Loop is right outside, looking in at 5 and 6. So you're not out of it yet. And honestly, we have what? We have week 11 through I think 14. So 1, 2, 3 more weeks before playoffs, I believe. I go down here and look at playoffs. Week 15. Yeah. So 3 more weeks before playoffs. So 1, 2, 3. Yep, 3 more weeks before playoffs. And I mean, you're not completely out of it at 3 and 8 and 4 and 7. You know, you win 3, you finish 6 and 8. They lose 3, they finish 6 and 8. It comes down to points for 105, 104, 115. So 51st Legion would have more points for you guys would not. But if you're winning 3 games or losing 3 games, maybe that flips within those 3 weeks. So you're not out of it. You never know. Let's look at free agents really quick before we move on to our week 12 projections. So top free agents, I'll just list it right here. For this last week, we had Anthony Richardson, who scored 28.1 fantasy points with a passing touchdown and 2 running touchdowns. He is definitely a waiver ad if you need a quarterback moving forward. He's projected to score good points. I know he sat for 2 games, but he's back, and I think he's going to be the guy moving forward probably for them. And this matchup for playoffs is good. Tennessee, Giants, Jacksonville. I might even look at him close to his bye week for myself. We also had the top running back on the free agency was Rashawn Johnson, who is a backup. He scored 10.6 points, but he only had 10 rushes and 8 receptions. So, like, he's not a starter. I wouldn't start him, but he is a handcuff. Top wide receiver. Not much out there for top wide receiver. If you're looking at projection for rest of the season. Not much out there. But the top wide receiver for this last week was Tennessee's Westbrook Achine, whatever you say. He scored 18.7 points. He is listed third on the depth chart, but he is averaging over 93% snap share. So if you scroll down here, he's kind of lower on this list here. Low projection for the rest of the year. Or did I miss him already? Where is he at? Yeah. Let's go back to week 12. No, he's not that far down. Week 12. There he is right there. So like I said, he's third on the depth chart behind Ridley and Boyd. But look at these snap shares, 92, 97, 185. And look at the touchdowns. He's scored a touchdown 5 of the last 6 games. So like, ooh. Can he continue scoring touchdowns? I don't think so, but like, that's crazy. What's Tyler Boyd doing since he joined Tennessee? Not much. Really? He's having decent games. But he's not scoring touchdowns like Ed Shine, like Westbrook Akini is. So I don't know if you need that high floor or if you need that high ceiling flex player, he might be someone to look at. Other than that, not much on the waivers for that as well. Maybe a Dunzy just because of the percentage he plays. Darius Slayton. Whoa. Darius Slayton is a sneaky pickup. Look at this. His percentage snaps when he was healthy was high. He's been hurt, and he's about to come back. Wow, that's a sneaky player to grab as well. And the top free agent tight end was Taysom Hill. He's not even listed up here for some reason. Where is he at? Where is Taysom Hill? There he is. Taysom Hill is being evolved a lot. Now, he had 38.5 fantasy points. He was on the field 55% of the time, caught 8 catches and rushed 7 times for 3 touchdowns and 138 yards. He also threw the ball quite a bit as well. So he is getting involved a lot this last few games. 40, 44, 43, and then 55 for this last one. They're going to have a bye week and come back. If he continues doing this, I think his playoff options are good. If he does against the Rams, I might start him against the Giants. And then maybe not start him versus Washington, see what happens. If he continues to get a lot of carries, a lot of throws, a lot of receptions. Because watching the highlight, he seemed like he was out there for every play, but he wasn't. He was out there half the plays. He might be a nice flex play against Green Bay, the Las Vegas Raiders, and Tampa Bay for sure. So look at him. But Johnny Smith, he was the second highest scoring tight end with 25.1 fantasy points, and he is a tight end 1 for a Tua ran offense, which means a lot of passing. And he's the guy I think I might look at for consistency moving forward. He's on the field 66, 69. Let's see. His backup for the tight end position, Smythe, is not doing too much. Just 1 catch for the last 3 games. Is that the same for the other backup tight end, Jack Stoll? Yeah, he's not doing anything. Julian Hill, a little more, not much. I would definitely not be worried about that. I think Johnny Smith is a good tight end moving forward for that Dolphins high-powered offense, especially with Tua being back. So he might be worth a stash to see how he plays. Yeah, I think he's good. Other than that, Disley has been playing good as well. Don't know why Hayden Hurst isn't playing. He was just inactive. But even coming back, his projection is only 2. So he's also 31. Disley's 28. Disley has been really good. 11 catch 11. I mean, look at these targets. 11, 7, 3, 6, 6. Good amount of targets. He's on the field, not amazing, but good enough. And he's getting targeted a good amount. And so moving forward, I definitely might like him. Other than that, not much out there, unfortunately. So good luck with that. Defense, Rams scored 11 fantasy points with 2 forced fumbles and an interception. They were the top free agent defense. But I would definitely look at who's playing bad teams. Washington's playing Dallas, so they are a must add and play. Dallas is garbage. Tampa Bay, you'd want to against the Giants, but the Giants are taking out Jones and putting in DeVito, and DeVito went off last year when he got a spot start, so don't know about that one. Any other teams I would target for defense? Not really. Not really. So that brings us to the Week 12 projections. So Week 12, looking ahead, we're looking at, which is unfortunate because people don't have their best lineup set. We have Historians versus Lady and the Champs, and I did this earlier. I did the math in my head. I did all this, so like I'm not gonna do it all again because I did it earlier. But if we have her take out Cooks in London and the New Orleans defense and put in the Steelers, put in Madison and Lockett, she's actually projected to win. And that's even when I take out, I don't have a tight end, I put in a tight end in replace of that, still projected to win. So it's anyone's week, and I think I'm going to have the week. So I think I'm going to win this one, but it's very close. So like it's a very close matchup here. We have all these good players playing. It's a very good matchup. I'll tell you this, I do have waivers out there. I have waivers for Johnny Smith, like I just talked about. I do also for Will Disley, because if people listen to this and they go out and they get Johnny Smith, I want to have a backup, which is Disley, because I need a tight end this week. So I need to go grab one. So I think I'm gonna get the win for that matchup. We have No Different Scott versus King of the North, and unfortunately, I think No Different Scott. I think actually King of the North is gonna win this one. Projected 97 to 94, but if we go down here and look at their players, all their players are filled in. Okay, but you have Harrison sitting here with 10 fantasy points. Put him in instead of Parcell. That brings you up 4. That brings you up to 98. That puts you in the winning category. And I went through all this. Like I like Love over Stafford. I like Mixon over Pollard. I like McCaffrey over Williams. I like Myers over Tillman. I like McConkey over Hill. I like Henry. I like Ertz over Andrews. Gibbs over whoever is here. And then Dobbs over Hunt. And then Philadelphia versus defense. I like Philadelphia better. So back and forth. It's going to be a very good week. I definitely, if I'm Scott, I would play Ertz at my tight end spot. Maybe play more over Tillman that week because Tillman's playing Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh is so good. So maybe those changes, but I still think it's a toss-up, and I'm going to go with the underdog in the North on that one. Next, we have Akuna Matata versus Team Maverick Miggs. And right now, Team Maverick Miggs is projected to win because of the bye weeks. We have Brown, we have Chase, we have a questionable Ferguson. So definitely make those changes for Robinson and Laporta. I think that will bring you up, but still projected to lose. So I think the Mix might have a chance here. ETN needs to they need to get rid of ETN. They need to drop Wicks. They need to drop Levis and go grab a running back. Maybe grab that Roshan Johnson and play him for this spot here and see what happens. But yeah, if Kuda Matata makes those changes, I might have to stick with her because Ford is not viable. He's not projected. He's projected 6, but he's not gonna score 6. He's not going to. So like, he's not gonna score 6 points. And you have here, you don't even have a running back there. They're gonna actually change their lineup projection. They're gonna add 7 and 5 and 6 for 0, 0 and 0. That's 3 zeros. So that's 7 plus 5 is 12 plus 6 is 18. And then that's a whole like extra one there. So 19. So let's just run up to 20. That puts you at 87. Still projected to lose by by 5. But I think Kumantan might be able to still win, maybe. Unless, but then here, like, Jackson and Taylor could carry, and Nakua could carry Mags to win. So, really not sure who's going to win this one. Give me a good one. We got heavyweights versus 51st Legion, and looking here, we have heavyweights need to make some changes. Burrow and Thomas for Goff and Evans. That's 11, 15. That's 26. Let's round it up to 27. That puts you in the far lead now. Looking at 51st Legion, do you have some bye weeks? Pitts. You don't have a tight end put in there. I would drop Gibson, get a tight end, like I talk about, and put that in there, and that will bring you up. But still, that new projection for heavyweights is much higher than what you're able to put out 51st Legion. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go heavyweights on that one. I think heavyweights is gonna win that week and go to 7 and 5. But you never know, so keep with it for sure. Yeah, I think most of these lineups are set up pretty well. I would maybe take out Daddle and put in Williams and Evans for Thomas, of course. And over here, not much to do here. I would drop Conklin and get a tight end. I would drop Gibson and get a tight end. I would drop Gibson and get a tight end. I'd drop Conklin and get a flex player to play instead of Estime, because Estime's not going to do anything for you. So, yeah, I'll do that for sure. We have Team Kalina versus East High Wildcats. Unfortunately, both teams are not doing much. Kalina's going to end up winning probably because she just has more active players. And then we have Beautiful Diz versus Troop de Whoop. And look at here. Beautiful Diz is projected to win. They have their lineup set up already. Troop de Whoop does not. Allen and Hall is on bye. Go down to what you have. You have Herbert and Singletary to replace. Don't love Singletary to replacement here, but you really have no other options. There's not a lot of running backs on the waiver. So I guess just stick with Singletary and hope he catches a touchdown pass. So that brings you to 22. Yeah, 22. That brings you up to 87. Still projected a big loss, unfortunately. So, but like I said, you never know what's going to happen in football. That's why they play. And I would definitely maybe look at the waivers for another running back. Keep an eye on maybe injuries and stuff. Maybe running back sneaks in as a starter this week for no reason. Especially with yeah, never know. That is the week 12 projection. Sorry for going so fast. This is a 30-minute video. Like I said, I already recorded this episode, so I didn't really want to I didn't really want to do too much talking, and I'm also getting tired. I'm yawning. So, thank you for stopping by and watching. Players who are, King of the North, Maverick Mix, First Legion, you guys are still in it. Keep fighting. Lena as well. Akuna Matata, you're all in there. It's a very small window here. Top 6 teams wins. Unfortunately, Lady Champs, No Different Scott, myself, and Big People Diz, I think we are solidified as a top 6 team right now for the season. Especially if you look at points 4. But you guys are still jockeying for position, and any of you could win. Stick with it. Hit those waivers. Grab those handcuff running backs that if their starting running back gets hurt, they can come in and become a starter, and then you have a very solid flex position if you play that player. Take risks. If you're projected to lose, play the players who have higher ceilings. So if you're projected to lose, play those players who have scored higher points during the year. Maybe they scored lower points as well, but you need those high hits to overcome the projection of the projected loss. So, stick with it, because people are having bad weeks, and other people are having good weeks. So you never know. Anyone can beat anyone anytime. That's just the way football is. So stick with it. Thank you for watching. Check out Dizneyverse if you don't know, Dizneyverse. And I'll see you next week.